Welcome to Pickpocket Pod. My name is Cameron,
My name is Josh.
and we are the co-owners of Pickpocket Games, an independent publishing studio making games you can share with anyone. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these. I don't think we did one last month,
No.
and we have a lot to jump through, so we're going to dive right into it today. We've got print run updates to jump through, multiple different games getting onto boats this week. By the time you're seeing this, probably already well on their way across the ocean.
Yep.
And a lot of new projects coming up that we are excited to start teasing out and talking about. So I want to start, though, with bigger news, arguably bigger news from this month, which is our first new team member in a while. Our first, like, non creative team member,
Yeah.
not somebody involved in the making
Yep.
of the games, but in the like operations of the business. Josh, who's our new team member?
We got Drew. Drew Eaches has
Drew
joined the
Eaches.
team. He's our sales associate and will be helping us onboard new stores. He'll be helping work with distribution, Amazon, the behind the scenes maintenance of sales, which there's a
Yeah.
lot of just generic upkeep. Um, and it's cool because we're coming into this with very few retailer accounts. But one of our goals is to be very connected with retail stores and supporting brick and mortar,
Yep.
mom and pop shops. That's something we value and really want to do. It's something that we think is giving back to the game community, investing in where games are actually played. And this allows us
Yeah.
as Pickpocket to do that, to reach into those areas without it stopping Cameron and I from doing what we have to do to actually make these games happen.
Yeah. I mean, I am so excited to have Drew on board.
Yeah.
To your point, it's just like as we've expanded the catalog, we're at 2 games now, especially when Lodge comes out. We're about to be at 3, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's become more and more work on our plate to manage the distribution channels, to manage sales, to manage freight, all these other upkeep things of just like the operations of the business, in addition to still like actively working on new projects and new games. And it's just like the workload continues to expand. And we really wanted to find somebody who's going to help not just take some of that workload off of our plates, but be able to like really take that area of the business and run with it and expand our sales and do a better job than we could do when our attention is so fragmented on running the company, making new projects, managing our creative team, all these different things, managing freight, print runs, all this stuff. Um, I'm really, really excited to have Drew on board. I think it's also just a case of we really want our games to get into more places. Like I want people to
Yeah.
be able to find our games in more places. I don't want to be limited to, Kickstarter and some stores, but not many, and just our web store. Like we want to be expanding into more places so people can discover us in more places. And Drew's going to be a great asset in doing that. And he's a really nice, fun, chill guy. Yeah, I think he's going to fit in great with the team environment. He seems to get along with us pretty well. So welcome, Drew. Shout out Drew down in the comments. Maybe we'll have him on the podcast at some point. It feels like a little early. Like he
Yeah.
literally like just started like last week. It might have been a little bit much to just be like, we're gonna throw you on our podcast too.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get him on in a future episode. Um, Super excited for that. I also want to talk about all the projects that are printing, that are done printing, that are getting on the water. I want to start with Lodge, which is the big one that a lot of people are probably tuning in to check on the status of that one. Where's Lodge at, Josh? How's printing going?
Printing's done.
Printing is
We're
done.
manufacturing is wrapped.
Heck yeah.
We're thrilled with it. Cameron and I both got manufactured production copies. This is one of mine back here. That's a retail edition. I have deluxe edition in the other room. We have ripped them open. We have scoured the contents. We have checked for color matching. It is incredible.
Oh, boy.
Hopes did an amazing job. It looked great. So now I sent over the shipping plan, and the goods are actually being staged. So
Getting ready to get on boats.
Yeah, they need to set them up, get them in the right area so that containers can come. They can load them onto containers. And then there are a number of shipments going all around the world. We're using two, three, four.
I think it's
We have
four.
five hubs
Is it
where our
five?
inventory
Oof.
five. Yeah, there are five
Crazy.
hubs all around the world where our inventory will go, and from those places, it will be packed up, label put on a box, and shipped to you. So
Yeah.
we are still in Shenzhen, where this was manufactured, Shenzhen, China.
At the time of
Containers have.
filming. Yeah.
What's that?
At the time of filming, it's there's a good
Yes.
chance this will go out next week. There's a good chance we're on the water when this episode comes
Good.
out.
Yes, it is. It's very likely that we will have a container next week. Although containers are incredibly competitive and expensive right
Yeah.
now. If you know anything about freight and fulfillment, the logistics side, especially for and shipping anything ocean, we're at like mid-pandemic highs.
Yeah.
This is a historically expensive time to be booking containers. Doesn't feel good for Cameron and I, but we're doing it. We are not going to delay this project,
Yeah.
which sucks because this is expensive. But we're getting on a boat. We're booking containers. Next week we should be on containers, and then probably about 7 weeks from then we should be at our U.S. facility. 7 8 weeks depends how port
Yeah.
goes.
Which is a good transition into if you didn't backlodge on Kickstarter and you'd like to pre-order it on our website, I'll put a link in the description. It would help us out a lot. To
Yeah.
Josh's point, freight is insanely expensive right now. We don't feel like there's any way we can justify trying to delay this project more. We really want the game to come out both on time for our Kickstarter backers and also in time for people who haven't ordered the game yet to be able to get it, especially for the holiday season. So we're really excited for it to get here. Rough timeline wise, Josh, we're thinking probably like September-ish is when it's going to arrive. We'll fulfill the Kickstarter backers, and then the wider release will be October 1st.
Yes, exactly.
Very excited for it.
The only caveats I would put, there's always anything can happen with shipping, especially
Sure.
when we're dealing with pulling things into port. We have to make sure that goes smoothly, but also that we're working with a smaller fulfillment company. I kind of view them as a mom and pop in the space of warehousing and logistics.
Oh, yeah.
There are not many smaller operations that ship at the scale that we're trying to have packages shipped. I anticipate that this will be just like our previous campaign and like any others, but we're trying to work with smaller businesses, and that does mean that at times I don't know what it looks like for them yet to receive containers that are floor loaded. Like
Two
that
big
could
containers.
add
Yeah.
time that's unanticipated.
Yep.
But even with that, we are still ahead of our Kickstarter schedule. And I'm anticipating, Cameron and I are both anticipating you will still have this in hand before we ever anticipated was listed on that Kickstarter for that October. You should have it before October, which is great.
Yep.
But that's all. Obviously, knock on wood, fingers crossed, shipping and logistics,
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Briefly want to touch on, we have another container that's already getting on the water currently, and that is the reprint of Thief's Market. I have been bombarded, especially in the last week or so, with requests for this game, both by retailers and by just general everyday people who are looking for where can I purchase this. Part of that was that we just recently got a review from the Dice Tower, which was great. Tom seemed to really enjoy the game. We got an 8. And I love it. I'm so glad that Tom enjoyed it. I'm glad that they loved it. I wish we had it more readily available. The retail edition, there is still like less than 100 copies of the retail edition in stock. If you want the retail edition, you can get it right now. It'll ship out like next day when you order it. The deluxe edition is currently out of stock, but we have a pretty hefty size reprint that is getting on boats right now, and that should be coming in hopefully just before Lodge again, like sometime in September. As soon as we have it, that inventory will be made live on the website again. You can pre-order or back order, I should say. If you want to back order the deluxe edition, you can also order that now, and it'll ship as soon as it gets in. And I know there are also a lot of stores that carry Thieves Market. They may have copies, and you can also ask them to pre-order copies from the next print run. So it is coming. Patience is appreciated. But I also totally understand emailing to check, hey, where can I get copies? I get it. I get it. I know people are eager, and I'm glad that we've got more coming. So
Absolutely, but one email per day is plenty.
yes, you
That
don't
is
need to keep emailing. I
plenty.
will let you know when it's going to show up, and then you can stop emailing me. Thanks.
Yes.
um, yeah, that's the print runs. We also
Well,
have
let's talk about the timing for it because we said it's happening. So it
sure.
is now on the water.
Yeah,
So I'm anticipating about 6 weeks before it is actually shipping out of our warehouse in the
yeah,
United States. Again, assuming no issues at port,
yeah.
no issues with the
Probably
container.
a late August, early September. The nice thing here is that this is just a reprint. We don't have Kickstarter orders to fulfill. We just have back orders.
Yep.
So there's not going to be a delay in it arriving and it being available. As soon as it's available in inventory in our warehouse, it'll be available to order. You can order it. It'll ship. Usually our warehouse ships within a day, if not same day. So,
And
yeah,
if you want to support your friendly local game store, which we always recommend, please buy local, support your friendly local game store where you play games. You can go to your friendly local game store and ask for them to order Thieves Market through ACD distribution or PhD distribution,
or directly from us. And we do have a
or
good amount of
directly from
stores
us.
that order directly from us.
Yep.
If you want to find those stores that support us directly, we have a store locator on our website. It is expanding every week. We have new retailers that are being added into that list. So, yeah, you should be able to find it, hopefully, wherever you can. If you are outside of the US and Canada, because it is also in stock at Board Game Bliss in Canada, Zatu Games does have more of that reprint coming also and has it available in distribution in the EU and the UK, and they do also ship worldwide. So if you're outside of the US and Canada, go check it out at Zatu. Josh, I want to talk about the other thing that is hiding in the containers with Lodge that we haven't
Yeah,
talked too much about.
oh, that was good.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it
like
was a good transition, right?
that was an amazing transition.
We
Uh,
we've talked about this a little bit, and it's on the progress chart, which I'll throw up on the screen now. Um, Codename Space. We are kind of stealthily releasing a third game this year without Kickstarter. This is going to be our
yep.
first direct to retail. We're not doing a Kickstarter for it. It's just going to release, and we're going to open up a pre-order like a couple weeks before it releases. Um, but it's just going to direct release. You're going to find out about it and be able to order it, and it'll show up pretty soon after that. We're not going to reveal what it is yet. We're probably going to be revealing what it is in like September-ish. Again, it's in that Lodge shipment, so it'll come out in October.
I'm a man of the people. Cameron, can you at least give us these few things? Here's what I'll ask.
Yep.
Can you tell us about the designer?
Yes.
And then can you tell us about the mechanics, two of the
Sure.
mechanics, and what is the hook? Not theme, just what's the gameplay hook, maybe? I'm a man of the people. They're begging me, knocking down my door. Josh, what is Codename Hide?
Yeah. I've got it right in front of me off screen over here, and it's pretty tempting to just grab it. But
I've got it.
it is let's see how I want to not reveal too much here. It is an open drafting game. It's a set collection game, and it is very like intro to drafting, intro to set collection. So of our 3 games in our catalog, this is our lightest game that we've released. It's also our quickest game. Most games are around 30 minutes. It plays 2 to 5. Nice wide player count there. And it's designed by David Bach. David Bach, we've worked with in the past. He was actually the graphic designer on Thieves Market about 2 years ago when we were working on that project. He brought this game to us and really felt like we were a good fit to bring it to life. And we played it and really, really agreed. It felt like a great fit for our catalog. The direction and the idea of where this game could go was really, really exciting. And yeah, it's come together really, really nicely. So it is, again, like an intro set collection drafting game. There's a really clever drafting mechanic where you're drafting out of a grid, a shared grid of cards in the middle of the table. Um, our shortest game, our lightest game, it comes in the same size box as Thief's Market, and it is a little bit cheaper than Thief's Market. I'll say that. So we're really excited for that game. We will reveal more about it in the coming month or two. That will also have technically a release date of October 1st, just like Lodge. But we'll open up pre-orders and announce more about it, how to play videos, the whole 9 yards, and probably a special launch pre-order discount of some kind. So we're really excited for that game. That is also done printing. No Kickstarter. It's in containers. It's getting on the water with Lodge, and we are really, really pumped to be just direct releasing a game. There's something really special about we're going to get to announce a game and just say, it's available. Buy it. You can have it at your house, like now. It's going to be a cool feeling. So
Yeah.
very excited for that one. That is Codename Space. I think you said Codename Hide. Codename Hide is a different one.
Well, yeah, it's because you said hiding in the container, and then I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
We
speaking
can
of
talk.
Codename Hide,
Yeah.
now this is a segue.
There you go. That's also
Well,
up
before
here
I
on the
dive into
project.
that, I will also highlight it is so cool to have worked with David Bach, really enjoyed David Bach, and then have an opportunity where we get to take something that is really, really special. I think
Yep.
the game design on this landed in such a satisfying place. The art is incredible. It is such a good combination. And it's just incredible. And David made this really amazing thing. And it's so cool that we get to do not just do this cool game, but do this cool game that was created by somebody that we already know and like and think is awesome. So that's really exciting too. So we've got that Codename Space. We also have a project we're working on. This one is not in a container. This one is not ready to ship.
This is being
But it's
worked
called
on.
Codename Hide. Cameron,
That's the
what
code
can you
name.
tell us about this one?
It's not called Codename Hide. Hide is its code name, but yes,
It is Codename called
we're
Hide.
very excited for this game. I think Josh has spilled the beans in a couple places before that this is from the Dirtle Games design team. Darren and Jason, fantastic. We've both worked with them in the past. I worked with them on Fuego back at Keymaster Games, and also worked with Darren at Keymaster Games for a little while. They're an incredible design team. They've done Unmatched Adventures, is like a big one that you probably know, but they've also done Fuego. They've done Sherlock Game is Afoot, right? That's the title of that one. Rowdy Partners, which is also excellent. Highly recommend that one. We are so excited. They pitched us this game a little more than a year ago. I actually just saw the message a while back of you saying, hey, Dirtle sent us an email and they want to see if we can meet and show us something. We were really excited by it then. We're really excited by it now. It has come together so cleanly. Not going to say too much about it beyond what we've said already, which is that this is going to be our next major Kickstarter project. This is a larger box game, similar in size and scope to Lodge in terms of like component and box size. We have said that Leslie Herman, the artist for Lodge, is also doing the art for this game, but it is set in a very different time period, region, aesthetic than Lodge is. Same artist, but a very different aesthetic and time period that we're going for, and a different look that we're going for with it. We are so incredibly excited for this game. Right now, development is just wrapping up. That bar is almost all the way green in our progress chart. It's very, very close. There's like one or two little things that we're just cleaning up. Art is well underway. We have been working through some rather large art pieces for this game with Leslie, and they're coming together just incredibly. I am so excited about where this game is going, and the production that we are starting to settle into for this, I think is going to be really, really cool. So we're very excited for that one. We are tentatively slating that into a January Kickstarter for next year. Same time-ish that we did the Lodge Kickstarter this year. And yeah, I couldn't be more thrilled to be working on that game. It's going to be really, really cool. So that is Codename Hyde. You'll probably start to see more about it kind of after Lodge and Codename Space both release. We give them some time to breathe and are talking about them. As that starts to settle down, we'll start to reveal a bit more about that game later in the year. So
Speaking of Lodge,
speaking of
uh,
Lodge,
we released Lodge with the retail edition, the deluxe edition, a micro expansion which has a Tiny Towns crossover,
yes,
a card that goes into Tiny Towns, an amenity that comes into Lodge, and they're self-referential. It's very cute, and a mini expansion that does change the dynamic of the game significantly. I say mini expansion because it is physically small. It's not a lot of rules, but it adds a lot to the dynamic. Um, I heard a rumor that we're doing more Lodge content. Cameron,
we
what can you
we
tell us about another Lodge expansion?
we are doing more Lodge content. I'm really excited. We dropped this onto the progress chart and haven't talked about it much. Originally, it was kind of structured as a just, hey, we're doing more Lodge, but we're not going to tell you what yet. Um, this is a second Lodge expansion. It is a more significant expansion in terms of like size and scope of the components. I won't say it's necessarily more significant. Well, I guess it is more significant gameplay wise. Also, the hospitality expansion, for being as small as it is, adds a lot to the game.
A ton.
Asymmetric abilities really ramps up the complexity of that game in a way that's really surprising for how small that expansion is.
Yeah.
But this is a larger in scope expansion. It is a co-design between myself and the Lodge designer Peter McPherson. We came together pretty shortly after the Lodge campaign had ended. Keep in mind, at that point, we had been working on and playing Lodge for around a year. So we've been
Yeah.
pretty into Lodge at that point, played a lot. We've been seeing plays on BGA, which has been great to see what people have really been connecting with there. And just had a lot of ideas around there's some interesting design space that we can play with here. If we wanted to introduce some new ideas and some new questions without changing the core complexity of the game, there's just some spaces that we wanted to explore. Um, I realize that sounds vague, but I'm being intentionally vague.
Yeah.
So we've been working on that for a while now, for a couple months now. The core design of that expansion is done. Game design of that expansion is done, and development is about wrapped up as well. It is feeling really, really polished, really, really clean. It is kind of a combination between a more stuff and a new mechanics expansion. It's got a little bit of both. It's
I
doing the
don't want
like
it to get
expanding the
too.
pool, but
I'm
yeah,
going to be Cameron right now. Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's a lot of information.
yeah.
But wait, I do want to highlight though. So first of all, Cameron and Pete are amazing designers. As somebody that tries a little bit in that space, it's freaking hard. And it's really hard to make something that can turn into a viable product. Cameron and Pete had me join a very early playtest for what they were working on. This was months ago, very early, like maybe iteration 2 or 3 or something. I'm telling you, I played this and it felt done. It felt like it was an expansion that was just missing art. So just to brag on the amazing team we have, Cameron and Pete are just so incredibly talented and did something that is all like before they did dev work, it felt incredible.
Being totally candid, we also felt like we surprised ourselves with how well this expansion came together. Um, and I appreciate the credit being given to both of us, but I do think more credit needs to go to Pete here. Um, just in having built a core, really clean system
It's
that
amazing.
worked so well, that we knew so well, that like we had very clear ideas of where we could go from it because that core system was so solid. I mean, this is the person who designed Tiny Towns, which has had a lot
Yeah.
of expansions. It's in a very similar space of like, there's a core simplicity here that makes this game really, really great. but there's also just so much space to work with while still keeping that simplicity intact. It was just, yeah, it felt like everything just kind of plopped into place way
Yeah.
quicker than we expected as well. So we're really excited for that. That is going to come out probably at some time next year. We're working out the details of what the release plan for that expansion looks like.
Yeah.
You will start to hear about it and see about it next year. If you've been in our Discord, we are running playtests of it right now. We're wrapping it up, so if you want to jump in and kind of get a look at what's coming, you can. Um, but yeah, we're very excited to be continuing to do some more Lodge stuff in the world of Lodge. So we're pumped for that. And that's all I'm gonna say because Josh can get mad about me sharing too much.
We have another project.
Too many projects.
This one is signed. This one we've done some dev. We have more dev to do. We have
too much.
art to do. We've got a lot to do still with this one.
There's more to do. This is Professor Picasso. Josh is bearing the lead there. We have announced the name of that game, and it's been around for a while. It's kind of been sitting on the progress chart for a while. Part of that has been development has been a little slow there, of just like really trying to land the core game loop and making sure that it's feeling good. I think it's about there, and really at this point, it's kind of just expanding the quantity of cards and things in that game. This is a party drawing game, so really a big chunk of the development that's left here is mostly like building out the prompts and the remaining lesson cards and things like that. It's a party drawing game where you're going to be drawing in wacky, weird ways. This is a great party drawing game for people who can't draw. I think that's kind of going to be how we pitch it. Like, you do not need to be able to draw to play this game. Kind of the point of this game is everybody's drawings are going to look kind of sketch and rough. And you'll see why when we start to talk about it and reveal it more. But we have an artist signed onto the project. We're working out like timelines there. I expect that this is another game that will release next year. Similar to Codename Space, I expect this to be a direct release, not a Kickstarter. It's going to be in a similar size box, similar kind of price point in that area, and just really, really excited for where that game's going to go. All right, I wanna wrap up. I want to stop talking about us, but also kind of talk about us.
Sure.
I thought of a fun wrap-up question for this month, and that is, as somebody who now runs a company or helps run a company, runs a board game company, what are some of your favorite non-board game companies that you admire, there are things you want to emulate in the way we run Pickpocket, specifically outside of the board gaming space, right? I can start because I had ideas in mind when I came up with this question.
Please do.
So I have two. I have one in particular that really stands out, and that is Dropout. If you haven't heard of Dropout, they are I think you can still say they're an indie streaming service. In comparison to the number of streaming services out there, they're still probably comparatively small. But they're pretty big at this point. I've been watching them since the pandemic, when they were fairly small and their subscriber count was pretty low. It is largely improvised comedy shows. They're most well known being Game Changer, probably followed by like Very Important People or Make Some Noise. If you are a regular scroller on YouTube or TikTok or whatnot, you've probably seen a short from one of their shows. They're hilarious. I love the cast and crew there. I love the shows and the premises that they have. Game Changer is a masterpiece and a work of art, and they continue to innovate on that show, and it's incredible. But I really love, at least from what I can see outside looking in, the way they run that company. It is obviously a very creative-driven company. It's around building improvised comedy. Like it's a company built up of a lot of creative people working on artistic endeavors, which is very similar to us. And they treat their people very, very well. They profit share across everybody that works for them, including people who audition for them. They pay for auditions, which is wild. I believe when there was a writers or actors strike a while back, they were given permission to continue filming because they already pay their people way above industry standards. Like, from everything I can see, they treat their employees, they treat their cast, they treat everybody with respect and really well. They're a really welcoming environment, welcoming place. They encourage password sharing. It's crazy. And it's crazy cool to see a company thriving that is trying to run their company in a way that's really about like, we want to have the artists that work here feel like they're thriving and making creative, cool, fulfilling stuff. And we want the people who consume our stuff to feel like they're really getting a great value. I think it's the best value in streaming. It's like $7 a month or something ridiculous for the amount of content that comes out there. Um, and yeah, I really admire the way that they operate and the people running it. Uh, I have no reason to believe that Sam Reich will ever see this, but if you do, let's chat. I just want to talk to you. Like, we're not that far apart. I know Chris Grace. I like there's a degree of connection there. Let's chat. I just want to chat. That's all. I just love how you run your company, and I whatever I can do to emulate some of that here, I want to be doing. So that's my top pick. What do you have any standouts, Josh?
Okay, so this one was hard for me. I am not much of a like brand loyalist.
There's not that many to be wanting to be loyal to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was racking my brain.
Yeah.
I came up with two kind of. One
Okay.
and then a person.
Oh, sure.
So the one I'll say, if you are watching this, you may have already guessed it. It's Image Comics. I really like Image Comics. They do publishing and distribution for comic books, but it's creator owned. So if you create something that Image is going to publish and distribute, the creatives behind it still own the copyright for those characters, for the comic, for all of those things.
That's pretty wild, actually.
Yeah. Well, and if you know the history behind like how it was started, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And it's basically because of what Marvel and DC, what the large publishing houses in comics were taking from creatives. And then this space where, like Todd McFarlane and other like pillars of the comic book space were able to create and still own. And then go on to use and merchandise however they wanted, and they had direction and control over their properties. Big fan of Image Comics. I also like some of the risks that they've taken in comics. I will say, I do see that there's been something of a shift over the decades, but I don't see Image or Marvel and DC as being there yet, as being something where I can look at their business model and be like, yeah, and I admire
Love what
that.
you're doing. Yeah, sure.
I'm not there yet. The other one, okay, so I read Charles Schultz's biography. Charles Schultz is the creator of Peanuts comic strip. If you see the art direction I do, if you see behind me, I adore comic strips. I adore strip illustrations. I think it has something charming and special and unique about them.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
this snow is on this box because you said Charlie Brown Christmas. Like that's where the snow came from. It's like we want that snowfall from the opening sequence of that movie.
Yeah. It's there's something that can capture that aesthetic that is so unique both in period and in expression. Like it communicates something that it's just special, and I love it. I adore it, from political to satire to just the funnies, right?
Yep.
Like I'm there for all of it. But Charles Schultz was really a trendsetter in all of the American strip, especially, but was especially when he started merchandising and franchising out Peanuts, seen as kind of a sellout. Something I really admire about him is reading this biography. First of all, they interviewed all these people around him, from his childhood to his spouses and all these people that were connected with him, and he was a very positive, kind person to the people that he cared about around him. But he was also like he was kind of a hard ass when it came to business stuff. And like for example, there was a newspaper that did a change. They changed a word that he used, and they
Sure.
didn't tell him. And he
Yeah.
went to the newspaper, and at the time, it was the most popular part of the newspaper. It was the thing,
Yeah.
basically, like that people were buying the newspaper for was the peanuts and the funnies.
Yeah.
And he said, if you change one more word from my comics, I will never let you publish one of my comics again. He was like, I have these rules. Here's what they
Yeah.
are. But one of the things to get to the thing I admire and like about him, he was scared of flying. And as he grew in popularity, he got more and more requests from schools to come out to a school and teach kids how to draw Snoopy, or
Sure.
to speak at a graduation, and all these things. And it was the only thing he would fly for, was to go and speak at schools, because he had this fear of flying, but he was also like, I can't take 4 days off to drive across the country, teach kids how to draw Snoopy, and then fly back. And he would do that. He would get on a plane, face his fears, because what he did, making comic strips and funnies about little kids and dogs and birds, was so important to him that it was relational for kids, that it was something kids could interact with, that he would face his fear, something he hated, remove time from his very busy schedule, and invest in these young kids just for joy.
Yeah.
I think that's really special. That was very unique, even as someone who he made a lot of money. And even in that, he still prioritized investing in kids, the next generation, and just joy. I think that's so cool.
I mean, I think what purpose is there to making art if you can't recognize and appreciate the impact that that art has, right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that what art is for? Like, it's wild to me that people could not behave that way or not think that way or not at least appreciate the impact that your work has on other people when it's such creative driven work. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you for taking the time to chat with you this month, Josh. We will be back
Anytime.
again next month, hopefully with even more updates of progress on boats across waters and new games and all kinds of stuff. But until then, see y'all.
Later.